Number 12 on the hot notebook. Okay? What's the first thing you have to do in absolute value problems? Isolate the absolute value. Get it by itself. Well, in order for me to do that, what do I have to do with this 6? Add it. If you don't know what to do, if you are unsure of what to do, rewrite the absolute value as one variable. Check this out. 6x minus 6 equals 12. How would you solve that equation? You'd add 6 to both sides, wouldn't you? Same thing I'm going to do here. 6 times the absolute value less than or equal to negative 6. Okay, I still have the negative number on my right side. I cannot have the absolute value less than the negative number. But maybe when I divide by 6, it'll change. Don't make your determination until the very end. Negative 6 divided by positive 6 is negative 1. Folks, same case. Can you have the absolute value less than or equal to, Paula, remind me to take roll. Okay? Yeah. Less than or equal to a negative number? No. I think Dr. G's rubbing off on me. Because that's a big picture thing right there, y'all. That I even got excited because I noticed it before I started crunching numbers. And I was like, yes! I didn't get caught up in them tree limbs. Okay? But that's a no solution as well. Same thing as, what was it, number 3? The absolute value equation is equal to a negative number. Now you know. You didn't have to do anything but just write no solution. Okay? Questions at all? Any questions on there? Yes, ma'am. Number 5, let's look at that one. Still on those hot notebooks. 3 plus the absolute value, x minus 9 equals 21. First thing you need to look at, and the first thing I always look at, did you copy the problem right? I always check that. All right, we got to isolate the absolute value. How do you do that? What are we going to do, y'all? Subtract 3. And it gives us absolute value of x minus 9 is equal to 18, right? And now what's my saying? We're dealing with absolute value equations, so we're going to copy and op. So copy it down, lose the absolute value symbols, and then make it opposite, negative 18. Mirage, you have that much right? Okay. Add 9. X equals 27. And x is equal to negative 9. Did you find your mistake? Go back and check your answers because we're dealing with absolute value, folks. You got to check it. Check it here. That's strange. Check it here. So 27 minus 9 is 18. What's the absolute value of 18? 18. That one works. Negative 9 minus 9 is negative 18. What's the absolute value of negative 18? Positive 18. That one works. You could have left your answers like that or put them in brackets. Okay? Any other questions on the hot notebook? Yes, sir.
If you draw those lines there, I didn't have.
Yes. Yeah. Any others? Going. All right, let's change gears. Go to bell work. Bell work, let's look at that. Are there problems that you need to see from the bell work? Paper go. Anybody have questions on those? No questions? None? All right, well, let's move on then. Friday, what was Friday? Test? Let's go over test. Holy moly. Oh, I graded those before you left. That's why. Aha. I graded those during the school day Friday. Okay. Let's make sure that Miss Perry didn't make any mistakes because I graded them fast. Number 1 on the test was C. Check your answers. Check your answers on your test. Don't be working on anything else. You do that later. Okay, number 1 is C. Number 2 is F. Number 3 is D. Number 4 is F. You guys remember the other day I left you with this type of patterns, okay? And patterns don't always have to be in numbers, okay? If we started MTW, how would you finish that out? TFS, what does that stand for? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I could even end with another S, right? So it doesn't always have to be numbers, but we have to recognize the patterns. And I totally stole this from Dr. G. He said, look what I showed him. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Of course, because I'm a tree person. He said, look at it. And I went, oh, that's kind of cool. It is very cool. It's just a pattern that we follow, okay? We're getting ready to go over. This is in section 11.2. And 11.2 is talking about arithmetic. Folks, it looks like the word arithmetic, but we say arithmetic. Let me see what the section says. Arithmetic sequences and series. Arithmetic looks like the word arithmetic, doesn't it? It is the word arithmetic. What is arithmetic? Like when it was fun, right? When your grandpa was in school, did you say that? Arithmetic is what you first learned like in the first grade. What did you do? What was the first thing you learned to do when you learned math? You learned how to add, okay? That's what I think of arithmetic. We first added, and then what did we do? All right, now think about it. Think about it now from our perspective. Why did we learn how to subtract after we added? Give me a fancy term for that. Subtraction is just the what of addition? Opposite, give me a fancier word. Inverse. It's just the inverse. It's the opposite of it, okay? And then you learned how to do what next in elementary school? You multiplied, and then you learned how to divide. Why? Because they're opposites of one another. They're opposite actions, okay? But arithmetic has to do with adding. When we add by negative numbers, what do we actually end up doing? We actually end up subtracting. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a sequence. Bless you. Sequence is the first thing we're going to look at. It's a set of numbers. Set of numbers where you can find a pattern. A sequence is a set of numbers where you can find a pattern. Bless you. For example, and you did this in elementary school, 369. Go ahead, fill in the blanks. What's the next one? 12 what? 12, 15, 18. How did you know to use 12, 15, 18? You add 3, add 3, add 3, right? Okay, that's a sequence. Now, what the heck is an arithmetic sequence? Where you're adding or subtracting a number, or actually adding a positive or a negative number, right? Okay, so it's a sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive numbers is the same. That's supposed to say same. It's a funny looking S. A sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive numbers is the same. It can be positive or negative. Can be positive or negative. So if we were to have, everybody have that? Yeah? All right, if we were to have this, one, 4, 7, 10. Of course, the last two numbers are going to be what? 13 and 16. Now, if you had to explain this to an 8-year-old, to a 6-year-old, how would you tell them? What would you tell them? Just add 3 each time. 1 plus 3 gives you 4, doesn't it? 4 plus 3 gives you 7. 7 plus 3 gives you 10. That plus 3 is called the common difference. It's going to be our D in your formula, or formulas, formulae. It's the number added to each term in the list of numbers. The number added to each term in the list of numbers. Y'all ready? So just for kicks, it's very simple to begin with. Find the next 4 terms. Well, fill in the blanks. Just find the next 4 terms. You don't have to write anything down. Just fill in the blanks. Here we go. 26, 21, 16, 4. I want you to fill in those. And then fill in these. 11, 6, 1, and -4. Is he correct? Yeah, how'd you get that? What was the difference? You're subtracting 5, so the difference is -5, isn't it? Because we are adding -5. -5. 16 minus 5 is 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 5 is -4. Is it okay to end up with negative numbers within your sequence? Of course it is. But what the world is going on with that next one there? I'm adding fractions, but what fraction? What is it? How'd you go for it? How'd you even figure it out? How'd you begin? Okay. All right. What I did is I said, okay, out of 2, 8, and 4, my common denominator is 8. Do you guys agree with that? Okay. So what number, what fraction is equivalent to 1/2? 4/8. Do you guys agree with that? And then 8, 1 and 1/8. What the I hate mixed numbers. I cannot stand them. The only thing they're good for, y'all, is cooking, and I don't like to do that. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 1 is 9. I don't. I hate it. So now look at it this way. Change this 1 3/4. 4 7/4. How am I going to change 7/4 to an 8th? 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Right on? Now can you tell what to do? What is the next one? What's it being added by, folks? By 5/8 every time. Plus 5/8. Plus 5/8. Plus 5/8. I don't care if you leave it as an improper fraction. I'd prefer it as an improper fraction. 14/8 plus 5/8 is 19/8. Plus 5/8. What's 19 plus 5? 24/8. Hello, what number is that? 3.
So you can put it as that or mixed number.
You can leave it as, you can change this to a mixed number. You can leave it as an improper fraction. I don't care. But on an SOL test, you know if they've got proper fractions and mixed numbers, then they're going to change 19/8 to what? 2 3/8. But I'm telling you, you got to know at this level, you've got to know that 2 3/8 is equivalent to 19/8. And if you don't, you need to really consider some things. I say that to you with love, okay? You got to know the fractions, folks. 24/8, come on, it's 3, right? Add 5/8, it's going to be 29/8. Well, if you change it to a mixed number, what's it going to be? 3 5/8. Even with the 8s, are you noticing a pattern? I'm not right now, just leave it as improper. 29 plus 5 is 34. 8s, isn't it? Which is 4 2/8, which is 4 1/4. You've got to know how to go between them. And folks, how many of you math frac things to death? Because you're unsure. I know you do. That's why I'm not going to fight that battle. Use your calculator. Yes, sir. Because I looked at my fractions and I noticed my denominators. I had a 2, I had an 8, and a 4. So what denominator would they all have in common? An 8. That would be my least common denominator. So I said, okay, then I'm going to change everything to 8s since it was my biggest number. And then I knew 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4. And I did the conversion. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
After you figure out everything, we'll have to add the common denominator 8. Could you just take the top of it and add it by 5?
Probably. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did, and then I went and I changed it back to a mixed number. Absolutely. Other questions? Folks, in an SOL test, they're probably going to give you, or they're going to have as your options, 2 3/8, 3 5/8, 4 1/4. And you got to know how to go in between. Improper fractions and mixed numbers. This is not the important part, the fractions, but I had to throw it in there because then I hate love them. The important part is this. On that formula sheet, folks, is a formula. If you look, it's the first formula under arithmetic. If you are finding the nth term of an arithmetic sequence, you want to use a sub n equals a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. And you can see on your formula sheet there's another formula right below it. I don't know why you would need it. That's just my opinion. This right here is all you need. If you can solve an equation, then you ought to be able to do everything you need to know with that. Now, you're going to put a big old box around this here in just a second because it's very, very important. What's all this sub thing? What's this mean? Okay. A sub n is the nth term. This is the term that we're trying to find because I may give you some numbers and say, hey, find the 123rd term of this sequence. And could you do this in your calculator? You'd punch that calculator 123 times, couldn't you? Would you get the right answer? Sure you could, but it might take you some time, right? What does a sub 1, what do you think a sub 1 means? It's the first term in the sequence. What do you think the n means? It's the number of terms. So if I want you to find the 37th term, then n would be what? 37. And then d, of course, is what? It's our difference. I want you to put a big old box around that. Did you go pop, 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 pop with your calculator? Yeah. It's okay. It works. Does it take forever? Yes. But if you know this, I didn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay? It's totally doable. It's just a big old pain in the hind end. Okay? Now, how are we going to use this, folks? If you can solve an equation, you can do this. It's very simple. You ready to roll? How are we going to use it? I'm not going to make you memorize it. Maybe I should if it's on a SAT. Here's our first official example. I want you to find, bless you, the nth term of the arithmetic sequence where a sub 1 is -5, d is 4, and n is 9. You're going to use that formula. That's all you're going to use, okay? Write the formula every time. The more you write it, the faster you will remember it. Which term are we finding? We're finding the 9th term, aren't we? How do I know that? because 9 is my n. Okay? What's my a sub 1? Negative 5. Is it really this simple for this problem? Aren't we just plugging and chugging? Yeah. 9 minus 1. What's my d? 4. Oh, my Lord, really? Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Solve it. That's 8 sub 9. My n is 9. Okay? What is the 9th term? What's negative 5 plus 32? 27? How about that? Is that it? Mm-mm. What could I be? What could you be asked? Let's think about it because you're thinking forward, and that's good. What if I were to extend that problem? So we'll call this example 1.2. What is the sequence of the numbers above? What if you started with example 1 and then you were asked, what's that whole sequence of numbers? Where would I even start? Where would I start? Nope. What does this stuff? Folks, let me ask you something. Look at the information you're given. Don't settle for just sitting and letting me write it up on the board. Think forward. Quentin, what are you thinking? 27 is going to be in the 9th place? Okay, I can go that way. Aha, that's what I was waiting on. What does a sub 1 mean? That's your first term, folks. How many total terms am I going to have? Look at the information given. There are 9 terms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's the first one? Negative 5. What is the 9th one? 27. We just solved for it. How? Oh, Lord, how am I going to fill them in? What the world? What do I do? Easier than that. I don't have to plug numbers into an equation. I could. Just add 4. Why? Because that's my common difference. All right, y'all. Rocket science. Here we go. Negative 5 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4. Plus 4. Plus 4. Plus 4. Plus 4. Plus 4. Plus 4 is 27. Oh, snot. Really? No way. Seriously? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's all we have to do, y'all. Questions? Is that facile or difficile? Because I can't read you today. Is it because it's Monday? I'm getting no response at all. Like I can't read you. I can some days. No. Some days I can read you. Some of you I can't read you ever. You need to go to Vegas and bet a lot of money. Just say, no, I do not condone gambling. Don't do that. That's wrong. Okay, let's go to another one. Any questions on that at all? Is this facile or difficile? You just said seal. Facile. No, I just made that up. Okay, here we go. Questions? No questions? All right, here's another one. Our official example 2. 97 is the nth term of negative 3. Wait. -3, 1, 5, 7, dot, dot, dot. (97) is the nth term of -3, 1, 5, 7, dot, dot, dot. What are we going to find? What are we missing? Say it again. The number of terms. We're going to find what variable? N, right? Find the number of terms, which is N. Do we use a pillow when we sleep? Sometimes not, sometimes yes, sometimes I'm not sure. You may be a horse, 'cause you can sleep standing up, or sitting down, or laying down. What are we going to do? I'm sorry. That was called spontaneous singing. I don't know what inspired that. Sorry. That wasn't a very good song, though. Don't judge. Here we go. What is it going to be? What do we do? Where do we start? Start with the formula. Just start with the formula. Start with the formula. What is the formula? A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Y'all check it. I'm doing this from memory. Okay, don't let me make a mistake. Now, somebody said, find d. Find the difference, right? Harper, how are we going to do that? Because we know 97, right? 97, by the way, is which term? It's our a sub n y. That's the ending term, okay? So 97 is our a sub n. What's our d? How do you know it's 4? Because 1 subtract -3, hold it, I may have copied it wrong. Hold up. I copied it wrong. It's 9. It's 9, my fault. That's supposed to be a 9. Be sure you change that. Hey, our D is 4. All right, let's see what we have to plug into our formula. I've got my a sub n, which is 97. Do I know my a sub 1? It's -3. It's my first term. Do I know my n? No, that's what I'm trying to find. Do I know my d, my difference? 4. Okay. Got a whole bunch of sleepy babies today. All right. This will be online. 97. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Y'all, this is just an algebraic equation. Bless you. Solve it. Okay? I'm going to distribute the 4. And I'm going to get 4n minus 4. And then what am I going to do? Combine like terms. And I'm going to get 97 equals -7 plus 4n. Add 7 to both sides. Do I get 104? Yeah. Divide by 4. How much is it? 26. Hey, did we solve for what we needed to?
I didn't distribute 4 brains, so you also
Yeah, but you divide. Yes. Yeah, you're fine. It's the same. It's the inverse of what I did. Okay? How many of you are like, bring it on? As long as, this is like a puzzle, folks. You have this formula. Look at the information you're given, plug it in, and go from there. Any questions at all? None? Let's look at another one. Always changing gears, folks. Let's see, 2. Here's 3. I want you to find a sub 15 4, negative 3, 3, 9, dot, dot, dot. It's only 15 terms. You can completely check this in your calculator. What is my a sub n? What is my a sub n? That's what we've got to find out, right? We have to find a sub n is our nth term. Well, we have to find the 15th term, right? So that's what we're trying to find. We don't know what it is yet. Do I know, and I'm just going straight down the formula, do I know what my a sub 1 is? What does that mean? That's my first term. What's my first term? Negative 3. Do I know my n? How many terms? 15. Where did it come from? Hello, a sub n. And do I know my difference? 6. How'd you get it? If you take the second term, and folks, you're told, you know that this is an arithmetic sequence. Take the second term and subtract the first term. And what is 3 subtract a negative 3? 6. Okay? So I know that D is 6. Let's plug all the numbers in. A sub 1 plus 15 minus 1 times 6. Negative 3 plus 14 times 6. Oh my Lord, it may take me just as long to go bump up in my calculator. What's 14 times 6? 84. So 81 is my what? 15th term. How many of you, straight up, be honest now, how many of you put it in your calculator first to check? How many of you double checked with your calculator to make sure you're right? Did you get 81? Yeah. It's very simple. I don't care which way you solve. I don't care which way you solve to get the right answer. Okay? I'm just going to stay over here. Here's another one. Any questions at all? Yeah, sure. How about this? Find a sub 19, 4, 17, 12, 7, dot, dot, dot. You find that. All right, here we go. What's the only thing we have at our disposal is this formula. If I write it enough, I'm going to memorize it. Okay? What are we given? Well, we got to find our 19th term. That's what we're looking for, right? Do we have our a sub 1? What is it? 17. Do we have our n? 19. And I'm getting that from right up there. And then our difference. What's our difference? Aha. It's negative 5. Why did you use negative 5 and not positive 5? Because the sequence is decreasing. Okay? So here we go. A to the n, well, that's our a to the 9, or a sub 19. Sounds weird. A sub 1 is 17 plus 19 minus 1 times negative 5. You guys agree with that? Yeah? 17 plus 18 times negative 5. Folks, negative 90? 17 minus 90? What is 17 minus 90? Negative 73. How many of you got for that 19th term negative 73? Could you find every term in between there? What if I told you to find the 10th term of that sequence? Could you do it? You could use the formula. Could I also just draw the blanks and then add negative 5, negative 5, negative 5, negative 5? I would totally do that. I wouldn't plug it in the formula. I'd never think about doing that. Very good, Dante. You sure could, though. Absolutely. Questions at all? Yep. Yep. Maybe. Here we go. Bless you. Find the missing terms. Of the arithmetic sequence. Oh, smart. Here it is. 3 blank blank. You okay back there? 12. Okay, this is what we're given. Now, folks, I know that y'all are like, I know what those numbers are in the middle. How many of you can look at that right now and you already know what the answers are? Okay, I do too. But I got to start with baby steps, folks. I got to prove to you. You know that the two numbers are what two numbers? 6 and 9. You know they are. But what if I said prove they are? Don't you dare write plus 3, 6, plus 3, 9, plus 3, 12. That would be like a Sadie proof. That would not be an Algebra 2 proof. So what are we going to use? What's the only thing we have to use? Our formula. Okay, here we go. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. What is our a sub n in this case? What is our a sub n? What's our last term in the sequence? 12, isn't it? What's our a sub 1? 3. How many numbers? There are 4 numbers. And in this case, we don't know what the difference is. Now, we know what the difference is, but remember, we're proving with what we know. All right, so let's throw our numbers in there. 12 is equal to 3 plus 4 minus 1 d. Because you know the next example is not going to be that easy. You know I'm going to give you some jacked up numbers, right? Because that would be hateful of me, right? And I don't care. 12 is equal to 3 plus 3d. Yeah? Yes, sir. Solve. 9 is equal to 3d. Divide both sides by 3. D is equal to 3. Right on. Now what? Now you can go back up here and go 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 3 is 9. 12. But you have to prove it. I'm going to kill somebody in this room. Not really. That's a joke. That's going to be on YouTube. I would never do that. Never. You may leave this room if you need to. I'm just saying. Folks, do you have any questions on this? All right, so you ready for those weird numbers? Yeah. All right, here we go. No questions at all. I want you to fill in the blanks. You got this. All right, so what's up? So where do I start? I told you to ignore the first blank. Can't we go back at the end and take care of that? Sure. So that makes, all right, write the formula. I'm talking to myself. Is that right? Yeah? All right, so my A sub n, what's the ending term? 14, right? My A sub 1, because I'm just ignoring that first blank, my A sub 1 is negative 10. How many terms are in this sequence? Only 5, because that's all I'm paying attention to. 5. And then D is, well, we don't know. We've got to figure that out, don't we? All right. I love these problems. I must be a big old dork. But I like that. Yeah, thank you, Dylan, for your confirmation. Yep, big, super D. D. Is that a D, y'all? Okay, kind of, sort of. A sub n is a 14. A sub 1 is a negative 10 plus. I'm not offended by that because I know you say it with love, right? Okay. Negative 10 plus 4D, right on. Add 10 to both sides, I get 24 is equal to 4D. What's my difference? 6. How many of you had that? Rock on. All right, here we go. So negative 10 plus 6 is? Negative 4. Plus 6 is? 2 plus 6 is? And then go back and take care of the very first term, which is now negative 16. Holy bat wings, fat man. Okay, questions? I know, I don't care. I don't care. See, that's the thing. I don't care. Questions. That's kind of cool. I think it's kind of interesting. Does anybody else think that is? Shut up. Do enough. What? What'd you say? For real? Or I could just give you your homework. No, hold up. I can throw them good. Here we go. Here we go. Wow. See, you got me all messed up. Numbering samples. Look at page 141. No, I'm not even going to say that. Folks, I want you to do, let's go to 142. No, we're going to do those tomorrow. The big E, that sigma notation, we're going to do that tomorrow. If you will look at 142, folks, I want you to do 1 through 4. And then I faked you out. I want you to go back to 141 and do 1 through 4 there as well. Oh, 8 problems. Why? Just do the problems. 8 problems. Seriously?